Welcome into week 16. I keep writing week 15. I don't know why. Week 16, part 3, preview the semifinals or championship, however you play. 5 more games to go over, including the Sunday night and 3 Monday games. Brian, I was wondering this yesterday. Is this year feels like the best year for like waiver wire pickups? And I was thinking about it watching Puka. Puka was one of those. Achan, Kyron,
Kyron, yeah.
Maybe Mostert, probably not, but maybe. There's a couple more. I mean, all the quarterbacks, obviously. Stroud,
Well,
maybe.
yeah, I was gonna say, think about the tight ends like McBride, Laporta, probably
Yep.
off the waiver. It's like, yeah, no, it was really fruitful for sure. Yeah, like I know, like, yeah, he was probably draft. Oh no, Chubb played. I'm kind of like forgetting how long ago that happened. No, it's funny because I was kind of recapping some of that stuff with my league mates last night, where I was like, I got Alvin Kamara off the waiver wire because someone drafted him and dropped him after like 2 weeks because they're like, oh, I need the roster spot. That's obviously just like dumb luck, but Kyron was the other big one. And between those two guys that I got off the waiver, it's like, because I went very receiver heavy in that PPR league, like, so it just worked out. And I was like, I don't even know if I could pick who was the better waiver pickup between those two guys, you know? But yeah, no, the waivers have been really good.
Even Josh Palmer was another one.
Yeah, Palmer was good for a couple of weeks.
Nico Collins was probably drafted, but maybe not.
I think so. I think he was still drafted in like, round 8 through 12, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I don't know if he was that high, like round 8. Maybe, I think he was double digits.
Yeah, I think so too. I was just kind of like hedging a little bit because I'm like, I know he went later, but let's see. In our league, he went in round 11.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Rashee Rice is another one.
Yeah.
And even like Jaden Reed is a top 26 receiver this year and stuff. So yeah, it's been pretty awesome, and that's why you should play Fab. Since you brought that idea, it's definitely just a better way to go, for sure.
Yeah, Fab is free agency bidding. It's basically an auction, so there's no waiver wire. Well, there is a waiver wire priority, but you get a certain amount of money for the whole year, and you have to kind of figure out how much you want to spend of that week to week.
Yep.
In order to acquire your guys. So the waiver wire order only matters for a tiebreaker, typically.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't even know who's the best out of all that. I want to say Puka, but I mean, Kyron is RB6 and he missed 4 weeks, like that's insane. I mean, Puka's wide receiver 10. Yeah, it's just awesome. Awesome stuff. McBride, whatever. We're going to get into the 5 matchups that we have. These are going to be pretty easy because, primetime games are usually better games, easier for that reason. First one we have is the Cowboys at the Dolphins. I know you picked the Cowboys because we picked the same. Do you just pick it because the Dolphins haven't really beaten a good team this year, or do you think Cowboys bounce back after being beat down by the Bills?
Yeah, I just think like the offenses are probably on par with each other, but the defense is definitely maybe not like definitively, but I think it's kind of obvious that the Cowboys have the better defense of the two. Yeah, like tough matchups for either one of them, but I'm like, yeah, that over under of 50 is nice. Like, if that was the tiebreaker, how high would you have gone? Like, how many points would you have like said for those two guys or two teams?
I'd probably stay around the low 50s. I'd go in the 50s, 50, 52, somewhere around there.
It's kind of hard to go much above that. Like, I'd say 55 is kind of my limit. I know I've definitely like, oh yeah, this is going to be a 60-point week. I've done that in the past, and it's like I have a much better understanding of like just kind of betting and stuff in general now more than ever.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even mind going down to like 48 because I can see like the games that Dolphins have lost against good teams, they haven't scored a lot, So Eagles, Bills, I think there was one more in there, maybe the Chiefs. So that being said, I know it's it kind of hits home to you a little bit because it's one of the reasons why you lost your dynasty team because Dak did not perform. But I'm still starting all the Cowboys, Dak, CD, obviously, Pollard, and Ferguson. And if you want to throw a dart at like a Brandon Cooks, not necessarily a dart, but he's in that low end wide receiver 3 range. I don't consider that a dart throw. He could have a good game as well. So I think it's pretty easy on the Cowboys side of things. Any disagreements there?
No, the only thing I would disagree with you on is that you called him CD, and his name is obviously Lamb. We talked about that last week. Like some guys, you call them by their first name, and some guys are their second name. It's like, no, he's Lamb, dude. He's not CD. I don't know.
I feel like CD is a more distinguishable. I know there's no other Lambs in the league, but I've heard there was a baseball player. His name was something Lamb. No, I think I meant to say CD Lamb. I feel like you have to say his name together. To be honest.
Yeah.
Like Lamb doesn't sound right either. CD sounds a little weird.
It is kind of weird, yeah. And like if you call him seedy, it sounds like he's doing something like shady,
Yeah, yeah. So, I think I meant to say the whole thing, and I just kind of tapered off. And then the Dolphins. Where are you at with Tua? I mean, I think Tyreek's gonna play, so I'm fine with Tua, like as like a mid-tier QB1. I'd put him above. Like Jared Goff, and behind, like it's ranked behind Purdy, Mahomes. You find with right there with Tua?
Yeah, honestly, like I think Tyreek's gonna play also. Like they need to win. They need him to win this game, and they need to win this game. I honestly think like we saw the Tyreek. Sorry, I know you asked about Tua, but I'll get to him. We saw like how impactful Tyreek is like to the offense in general. In that Tennessee game where he was like, where he was injured and he was kind of like playing like here and there, and he like comes back on and he's like, oh, it's like now the offense can move again, And I really think they kind of held him out last week because they're like, we could beat the Jets without Tyreek, kind of a thing, which is pretty ballsy because like how the Jets play defensively. But overall, like, yeah, I feel a lot better about Tua with assuming Tyreek's going to play, which I am at this point. Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a shootout. Dallas defense is good, but I don't know where I'd rank him. I'm trying to pull up rankings so I can see if I kind of agree with it. Like,
yeah, so he's behind Hurts, Allen, Fields, Dak, Lamar, Mahomes, Purdy, and then it's Tua ahead of Stafford, Goff, Kyler, Baker.
Yeah. I mean, I know Stafford played last night, so you can't really say him. But it's like I probably would have started Stafford and Goff in front of him, but Tua's right there. Like QB10, I'd say.
Yeah. Mostert, you're starting. I wonder who. It's very curious to see who finishes with more touchdowns, Mostert or CMC. I think they're tied with 20, which is insane. Achane, how are you feeling like with Achane? Is he kind of a boom bust type of player? Not getting the usage we like.
Yeah.
Is he just like a low end RB2 with obviously like RB1 potential?
Yeah, I mean, he's basically he's the running back version of Gabe Davis who actually gets points, like no, yeah, like I think Achane's like he's definitely like you can start him. Like I think he's going to be involved this week for sure. Like I think like the Dolphins in general, like you're kind of just starting them all. Like I think you can start Achane. Like they're going to need Achane. They're going to need Mostert. They're going to need Tyreek. They're going to need Waddle. They're going to need all those guys. They're going to need Jason Sanders this week.
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
And just look at what James Cook just did to these guys, and a big part of it. I'm thinking about maybe for next year doing a weekly series of like defensive injuries that matter for fantasy type of things. Like in Jonathan Hankins, he's a defensive interior tackle for the Cowboys, missed last week and they got run all over. Generally a really good run defense. Yeah. So he hasn't practiced the first 2 days. I don't know about Friday yet. So yeah, if he's out, that could be a huge thing for Mostert and maybe Achane. So yeah, there's not many guys you can say low end RB2 with RB1 overall potential, and that's Achane. So and Tyreek and Waddle, you're starting, for sure, no question.
This is definitely going to be like, it's kind of like feeding into like it kind of answers the question, just me asking the question. But do you think we spend more time on games that we say are easy? Like they were like, oh, this is an easy game, and then we end up like talking about it for like 10 minutes because like we kind of keep going. And I don't know. Like I said, I just answered the question by asking the question, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, this next one, I think will be pretty easy. The Patriots aren't easy because it's Zeke as like a top 15-ish running back. He's going to get a bunch of touches, and he has a good matchup. It's Patriots Broncos, by the way. Broncos favored by 7, over under 34. Really good matchup. Broncos are the best for running backs. Inflated a little bit by the Miami, 100 points they put up between the two of them, but the running backs, that is. But I like Zeke as like a top 15 guy, and then Hunter Henry is my tight end, and that's it. There's no one else.
Yeah, Ramondre and Juju got ruled out like right before we started the video, like officially fully ruled out. So like not that Juju really matters, but just like they don't have anyone to catch the ball. So yeah, Hunter Henry, get it. I wish I could start him over Freiermuth, but I can't.
Yeah, right. The Broncos tight end you might be able to, which is the other team. Russ, he's fine for what he is. Like Patriots are not the best matchup, so I kind of want to fade him if I can. But like I'd start Baker over Russ. I think I'd start Geno over Russell Wilson too. But I think that's as far as I go. I don't know if I'm going to go into that Mullins, Love, Flacco range. I don't think I'm going to go that far. So where are you at with Russ?
I don't know. Like I think you've talked me into wanting to start Nick Mullins over him. I will start Russ over Geno. So I think I would go Mullins, Russ, and then Geno.
Yeah, I mean, Mullins has had he had 19.1 points, I believe, in 4-point, and Russ hasn't had that since week 4. So, but he's been pretty consistent. I feel like it's like more of a safe play. Like I feel like I'm gonna get 16 points from him, and I think I'm okay with that type of play. So not a whole lot of upside in my opinion. Javonte, man, that's a tough one. Not as easy as I thought. I guess,
yeah,
with Javonte, I think I want to bench him for the most part. Bad matchup, just not doing it. Doesn't look right. He's getting He's getting touches, but it's not like enough to make me want to like for sure start him.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the floor fall out last week against Detroit, who's also like a bad matchup for running backs. But I'm not afraid of starting Javonte. Like I'll still start him as like a low end number 2 guy, like even given the matchup, like for a lot of the same reasons we say start a lot of running backs. It's like involved in the passing game somewhat, not like heavily, but he's a little bit like game script proof in that sense, even though that didn't necessarily show out last week with only playing about half the snaps, but I think you can still throw him out there.
So if you're looking at the rankings, Fantasy Pros, half PPR, I think David Montgomery at RB24 is a no-brainer over Javonte. I think Josh Jacobs, if he plays, is a no-brainer. Eckler, Connor, Singletary, where are you going with those guys versus Javonte?
Man. I'll start. I know. I'm like, am I going to start Javonte Williams over Austin Eckler? Like, I don't know. I think I might do that actually. As like gross as that sounds. Yeah, I think I'd start Javonte.
Connor?
I think I still like Connor better.
Okay, and then Singletary versus Cleveland.
Yeah, I'll go Javonte over there. Like, equally bad matchup, and I mean, probably similar workload, but I'll give it to Javonte.
Yeah, I'll lean Javonte over Eckler in half PPR. Full PPR, I'll probably still lean Eckler because I think he can still catch 5 or 6 passes. And Javonte might catch 2 or 3. So,
yeah.
And then Cortland Sutton, still starting him. He didn't catch a touchdown last week, but he still put up he had 70 yards and 5 catches or something. So I think in half PPR he was 9.6. So that was his worst game since week 5. Didn't catch a touchdown. If they are going to throw one, it's probably going to be him. So still starting him as like a low end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I don't mind that.
Is that it for the Broncos?
I don't know. You were going to talk about Greg Dulcich, I guess. Like I start him over Freiermuth. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Troutman.
I think it was Adam Troutman.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like
is Greg Dulcich even playing?
No, he hasn't played since week 6. I guess. I don't even. Oh, he was on IR for a long time, but I don't think he is anymore. I don't know. Anyways, we don't have to talk about that shit.
Yeah, I know he's been injured. I was always a McBride over Dulcich guy. They both came out, rookies last year. I'm glad that it's not completely fair because Dulcich's been hurt like all year, but it's hard to imagine he's better than what we've seen from McBride. This I think is another easy one. That one was pretty easy. We got through that pretty quickly, like 5 minutes or so, 6 minutes. This one I think is easy. Raiders Chiefs, generally an easy one. Raiders, I'm still starting Devontae Adams. Just like, what did he do last week? I was trying to remember. And then they lit up the Chargers because it was a Thursday game. It feels like so long ago.
Yeah,
I'm starting Devontae Adams as like a wide receiver 2 for the rest, as I have been all year.
Yeah. He's the most talented wide receiver 2 in the league, for sure. Like, I think a lot of people are down on Adams in general, like, because like the Raiders haven't been good, like surprise, but like, and just like where he was drafted, but it's like, he's still wide receiver. I see him as 15 and it's like, there's no way you get
14. He's 14 in half PPR, just like a standard half PPR. So, you can't get away from that. Jacobs, I'm starting if he's playing. Zamir White, I'm going to start if he's the starter. As like low, Jacobs obviously more upside. Zamir White is like as an RB2, low end RB2. Any objections there?
No, I think that's where it's at.
Any interest in Jacoby Myers, who had a good game last week? I think he threw a touch. No, that was he caught one from the other guy, Tyler Scott. But his last big game, I think, was the game against the Chiefs. Week 12, I believe they played the Chiefs.
I think he might have thrown one also because I see him having 17 points with only 32 yards and a touchdown on 2 catches. So I think he did throw one also.
Makes sense. They just did everything against the Chargers. Let's see. He has 1 passing touchdown this year. So possible. But I guess could you play into the narrative that L'Jarius Sneed's going to shut down Devontae Adams, kind of like he did back, I believe, in week 12. And then that's when Jacoby Myers had a good game, 6 for 79 and a touchdown. Can you play that narrative to maybe start Myers as like a wide receiver 3 this week?
I mean, you could I'd feel better if I was flexing him, obviously. I mean, obviously we always want to flex guys over like having to start them. But I mean, I could see that. I like the history there. And obviously Sneed's been just shutting like number 1 receivers down. So, and we know who the number 1 guy is on the team. So I like that. I don't mind that.
What about like Myers or London? Drake London.
Myers or London
against the Colts. London is.
I'll probably lead London there.
Probably more upside. Lockett or Myers.
Lockett.
McLaurin, Deontay.
I think I'll still go Deontay. I might go Myers over. I was gonna say if Howell's out, but that doesn't even matter because like
I think it's better.
Yeah, I know. It's like Terry McLaurin's not even the number one guy necessarily in Washington with Howell. I think I'll go Myers over Lockett, Myers, McLaurin.
And then Deontay over Myers?
Yeah, Deontay over Myers.
Okay. And then, I don't think Michael Mayer is a start. I think he caught a touchdown, but who didn't last week against the Chargers? So I don't want to start him. So we'll just move on to the Chiefs. We'll move on to the Chiefs. Mahomes. I'm still starting Mahomes. Like, if you want to start Purdy over Mahomes, that's fine. I don't think you have anyone else that's ranked above him and Mahomes. So we don't really need to spend too much time there. Pacheco's going to be back. It looks like he's been practicing in full. So he's a start. Rashee Rice is a start, and Kelsey's a start. I think that's it. And
that's it.
Yeah. What do you think of Kadarius Toney?
I think his picture on Sleeper like makes me laugh every time I see it. I'm like, dude, this guy looks like a maniac.
They do like the Sleeper Christian McCaffrey. What was Christian McCaffrey last week?
I was like dressed up like an elf or something.
Yeah, I think Kadarius Toney was the Krampus demon. Like the European Christmas demon.
Oh, really? Krampus. I didn't see that one.
I just saw it on like a Reddit post. I went to go look and I didn't see it in our league. So I don't know. He's just, man, what a disaster.
I thought the AJ Brown one from last week was really weird. He was like Batman, kind of.
Yeah, I think he was wearing a Batman shirt recently, and they made like a deal about it. I think so. But it was kind of random, right? Like,
yeah, it was like, why is he Batman? Like, what does Batman have to do with Christmas? But also, he had like a white beard. I think. Like, I don't know. It just must be lost on me. Like, that's like Batman from The Flash or something recently, or I don't know. And why would him wearing a Batman shirt be like weird at all? It's like it's not like 1950 anymore, where like Batman's kind of like a thing for kids, it's like that's pretty mainstream, I would say. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm seeing something like a headline here: becoming Batman, who will join prestigious Eagles club next? The Eagles have 4 official Batmans on the roster currently. So I guess it's something the Eagles do. I don't know. I have to look into this more. I'm not familiar with this. Okay, created by cornerback, the original 3 Batmans, because it's not Batman. AJ, Batman Brown, Devontae, Skinny, Batman Smith. I don't know what's going on. I guess they call the receivers Batman. So
okay, sure,
makes maybe more sense.
Wait, is this Jason Kelsey right here wearing a Batman thing? No. All right. Anyways,
I think so. I don't even know why we're talking about AJ Brown because we're not even talking about the Eagles.
I brought him up because you're telling me that Kadarius Toney was Krampus. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is another easy game. Giants, Eagles. Over/unders 43. Eagles are favored by 13.5, which I don't know. I'm kind of feeling maybe. Nah, I don't know.
Oh.
I'm gonna say another second bold prediction is so Ridley, either best or second best game of the year. Giants cover. I don't know if that's very bold, 13.5, but is it just still Saquon and maybe Waller at this point?
Yeah, Waller over Freiermuth.
Yeah.
What's really sad is like, so usually what I do, like when I'm looking at, I like to get the players kind of like queued up.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Sleeper, I just kind of go into like the search box and I'll like type in, like AJ Brown, and then like I'll go to the team and I'll like select all the other guys. It took me a second to even remember. I was like, who's on the Giants?
Yeah.
Like I was kind of just like, I almost typed in Daniel Jones because I couldn't even remember that Saquon and Waller were there. I don't know. That just shows you how bad they are. Not those players, necessarily, but the Giants.
Yeah. I am concerned a bit with Saquon. Just like they could get blown out and he's kind of irrelevant in this game. And it's kind of a tough matchup, although the Eagles, I think, in the last couple games have given up some points to running backs. Yeah, they've given up 20 to McCaffrey, 13 to Pollard, 18 to Kenneth Walker, 13 to James Cook. So I don't know. It's tough to sit Saquon, but I am concerned a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if he has like 5 points in half PPR.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but I think the first part's more true, I guess. It's like, I think you're starting Saquon. Like, you're probably not too happy about it. I mean, it's possible. Like, you got, we talked about the waiver wire stuff earlier. Like, so it's possible you got Kyron and I don't know. I was going to say Jerome.
Chan.
Yeah, like you could definitely, you might be able to get away from him, but he's still a number 2 running back with RB1 upside, but that upside's kind of capped by the matchup. But I don't know. I mean, he's the only guy there. I mean, it's him plus one random receiver every week, and now hopefully Darren Waller.
Yeah. Yep. Waller's like just outside the top 12, or maybe you can make a case for him like over Kincaid if you want. That's fine. And then the Eagles is everyone. Like, I think they get Swift going even more. They kind of did last week. I mentioned it last week. And they tried to get him going, and they kind of did. He had 8.5 half PPR points. I think that's without a touchdown and not many catches. So I think they continue to get him going. AJ Brown, you're always starting. I know Devontae Smith was dealing with a knee thing, so that makes Goddard super appealing even more. But I'm still starting Goddard. I don't see their injury report, but keep an eye on obviously Devontae Smith, but he's starting if he's in there. So, and Hurts, of course. Anything else with the Eagles?
Nope. Goddard over Freiermuth.
Yes. Yes. I'd put Goddard over like Kincaid, Komet, maybe probably Likely as well. So comfortably in the top 10.
Yeah. I think I like all those other guys over him if Smith also plays. But it's close. It's close.
Yeah, I just know what Goddard's like capable of, although he hasn't really done it too much this year. But Ravens, 49ers. Is this the Super Bowl preview? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, seems like it. Seems like it. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Over-under's 47. 49ers are favored by 5.5. Would you take that? Would you take the 49ers giving up 5.5? Or would you take the Ravens to cover that?
I would take the Ravens. I wanted to pick the Ravens in our this week in our straight up football pool. No spread or anything. Just to be, partially to be a little bit different, but also because I really do think that the Ravens can win. But it's hard to bet against San Francisco. But yeah, I'll take the Ravens plus 5.5.
I mean, Ravens could definitely win. Would you give it like more than a 40% chance?
Probably not. I'd give it a 60% chance for them to cover.
Yeah. I'd probably give them like a 30% chance to win, to be honest. I kind of wanted to pick them as well, and I wish I did now, seeing everyone pick. It was a wash game, which it probably shouldn't be, but I don't know how you pick against the 49ers right now.
I think that's what it comes down to. It's like it's so hard to pick against them.
Yep. That being said, like, is everyone kind of a must start? I guess Zay Flowers is like and they're running back. So obviously Lamar, you're starting. I don't want to start the running backs, but I guess Gus Edwards, because no more Keaton Mitchell, is like a okay RB3. But against the 49ers, I don't love it.
Wait, Keaton Mitchell is out for the season.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about, did you say Gus? Sorry.
Gus, yeah.
I was reading when you talked, and I just heard Keaton Mitchell. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm saying I like Gus more with Keaton Mitchell. Like he gives you more of a maybe if he doesn't get a touchdown, he can probably still give you a 7-point floor. But I don't know against the 49ers if he can.
Yeah, I think I'm avoiding Gus. Like I think he's the one to start. I think that's kind of obvious. Like maybe it's not. I don't know. But no, yeah, he's the one to start if you're starting one of them. But I'd say low end flex, like given the matchup and obviously basically zero involvement in the passing game and everything. Like they might need him as far as like, just game script wise, like to, you got to establish the run a little bit, like even if you can't run on the Niners necessarily very well, but I think they'll need him and that could turn into something like
another defensive injury that matters for fantasy. Javon Hargrave, their nose tackle, missed. I think he left the game last week, if I remember correctly, and that's kind of why James Conner had a pretty good game. He's kind of like the key to their run defense, and he didn't practice Thursday. Don't know about today yet.
From the Niners is what
from
you're
the
talking
Niners. Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like there's nothing for today yet. So if he misses, I like Gus a little bit more. And I'm just looking at where Gus is ranked. The Tajay Spears, Gibson, Foreman, even Jerome Ford, Najee. I think Gus probably has the best chance for a touchdown there. So I might lean him just for that reason over guys like that. Because it is still over under 47, right? So Vegas is kind of expecting this to be it's not a 15 or 17-14 game, basically. So
right. Yeah. And that would put the Ravens at what, 21, 22 points implied total. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't mind that. That's that's a couple of field goals and 2 touchdowns. So we know who the goal line guy is. So I like that.
Flowers, is he a start in 3 wide receiver leagues?
I think so. Like obviously the last week was super disappointing, especially given like the juicy matchup against Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. Just didn't come through, but I think you're still basically just roll him out there as a number 3 wide receiver.
Yep. And then likely top 10 tight end. So
yeah, honestly, I'd say what the hell's going on with Beckham? Oh, he was sick. I was gonna say like desperation flex, like you could probably start Odell Beckham. I did not watch the Jacksonville Baltimore game. I'm just kind of like, oh no, I did watch some of it. I'm just kind of like looking at it. It's like, all right, Beckham didn't do anything. Flowers didn't do anything. Gus didn't really do anything. It's like, oh no, he actually
likely had a good game.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. Well, I was just kind of like, what the hell happened? But it was Lamar, man. He was running his ass off.
And he's frustrating in himself though. It's like he feels like he could put up 30 every week, but he doesn't. Like
who, Lamar?
Yeah, like it just feels like he could easily put up 30 every week.
Yeah,
more easier than almost any other quarterback. So besides like Josh Allen throws it 15 times, completes 7 passes, and gives you 20 points and 6 points per passing touchdown, almost at least. So, but yeah, 49ers start them all. Yeah. Yep. They might not all hit, but Ayuk had a bad game last week. Kittle, I think he had a bad game, but it's so fun to have McCaffrey. It's so much fun, man.
It's just like, just dial them in 20 plus.
Yeah. Just breaking fantasy.
Is this right that, well, I guess I can, maybe you can do it a little bit quicker than me. Is McCaffrey outscoring RB2 by 100 points?
Yes. About 80 in half PPR. Standard half PPR is 80.
Okay.
He's averaging, he's at 324.5. Raheem Mostert's 243.7. In terms of average, Kyron is actually number 2 And McCaffrey's almost 4 points higher than him.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was looking at our league too. Yeah. Again, we've talked about our scoring differences, but yeah, McCaffrey's outscoring Mostert by 107 in our league.
What's crazy is like again 4 more points than Kyron, who's number 2. Look at like last year between RB1 and half PPR Eckler. The 4-point difference goes all the way down to like RB
16
almost.
Yeah,
it's like RB 10. So it's just like he's having an insane year. I mean, Derrick Henry started off 2021 like that. Jonathan Taylor in his big year was only about 2 points or 1.5 more than RB2. So it's not since McCaffrey's like 2019 season. He averaged like 7 points more than RB2 a game. So yeah, he's insane. I think he should win MVP personally, but they won't give it to him, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's tough.
But yeah, we'll finish up there. We almost did under 30. It would have been closer if we sped up that last part, but that's all right. Any last words, predictions, anything?
I'm predicting that I am going to win in fantasy this week, even though it's a 2-week championship. Like, I'm just going to be so far ahead of you that you can't possibly catch up, even though you do have Josh Allen, CeeDee Lamb, and McCaffrey, which means I'd probably have to be up by like 600 points before I felt good about going against those guys in a single week.
I just feel like, yeah, I feel almost unstoppable with McCaffrey specifically, but obviously that's not true. But yeah, I guess Merry Christmas to everyone and or Happy Holidays, and we'll be back next week. Catch you guys then.